This is Magigoddess, and we're going to try something new today. This is the box that I have. So, this is intended to be a 20-minute video. It is a Health Matters program entitled EMPS, EMPS. Remember health first. What does EMPS stand for? EMPS. Emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual. We're going to have a segment that supports emotional health, one that supports mental health, one that supports physical health, where I will give you an exercise before showing you how to do it myself. And then we have your spiritual health. So for emotional health, we're going to pick an expression and talk about the best ways to express it. For your mental health, we're going to get an affirmation to tell yourself every time you look in the mirror that day. For physical, we're going to pick an exercise to do, and we're going to do 20 reps. We're going to do that exercise movement 20 times. I ask you to remember to eat well, rest well, and hydrate well always. And for our spiritual health, we're going to take a moment and wish for the things we want, and then be grateful for the things that we have. So, EMPS, a Health Matters program. This is just a rough sketch of it, just an idea I'm throwing around. So, let's get everything we're going to go into. First, we'll get a card for emotions. Get a card for emotions. I'm kind of feeling this one. So I'll put the emotions there. Next, we'll get an affirmation. Wow, that actually came out really quick, so we'll go with that one. And then a physical exercise. Okay. So, emotional, mental, physical. I have a couple of surprises in here. We're gonna get a reason for you to be grateful, something you're harvesting. So this is part of the spiritual, what you will be grateful for. What blessing is coming in for you, so you know to look forward to it. And then we'll get what you should be grateful for that you have now. What should we be grateful that we have now? Alright, I'm feeling this one. Alright. Now then, emotional health, mental health, physical health, and something you're wishing for that will happen. This is spiritual, and what to be grateful for that you have right now at this moment in time. So, let's get started with the emotion. This is just a card deck I got with different emotions on it. They don't have all these different emotions in the deck, but it really just shows you different ones. So I figure when I cover all the basic ones, I can then start on the little tree. And it actually aligns to your chakras and where like they can relate to, I noticed as well. So, emotion of rage. So when it comes to rage, when it comes to expressing our anger, what is the best way to use or develop your rage? First off, finding out what is triggering you or what is making you angry is most important. Secondly, ask yourself, why am I angry about this? Who told me this isn't okay? Why was I taught this wasn't okay? Why is this emotion being attached to this situation? When was the first time I ever felt anger? Just understanding why you're angry in the first place is most important. If you can't find a reason as to why you're angry, that means that your anger is a lot of times buried so deep you're not even angry about the thing that originally triggered you. You just are upset at the world. As someone who had serious rage issues, and someone who has done therapy and worked on themselves, I have found sometimes we think rage is because of one thing, and then we realize it's because of another. Like, for example, I used to always be really mad at myself, and then I realized it wasn't me being mad at myself. It was someone in my life taught me that when I don't do well, I should get mad at myself. And that's a really unhealthy way to express anything, is using rage. Rage is like something that makes you so mad that you just want to tear it apart, or you will literally do anything just to make it go away, even if it means hurting others or creating rage in others. Like, usually when it comes to rage, it's really hard to reel it in. I have found that when I get really upset, if I start counting, that helps. When I can't count necessarily, I'll just do this with my fingers. I will distract myself from the emotion to see first off how deep it is. If you have rage that comes and goes very quickly, a lot of times you're very sensitive, but the wound isn't deep enough to affect you. But if you are always angry, if you're always upset, that is definitely a burden that you are carrying, that you need to recognize that you have burdened yourself with this rage, you have burdened yourself with this issue. And unfortunately, a lot of times the things that cause rage or anger, we can't really look for guidance or help from that particular item, person, place, thing, because if we could do that, then we would recognize, oh, if I do this, it's going to seriously make me so mad, I want to cause harm, or etc. Think of what would make you so mad that you would feel the need to essentially lash out towards someone else. So in spirituality, a lot of times they call it sacred rage. I agree with that, and what that means is hone all your rage into something else. A lot of times whenever I feel serious emotions, I'll pour it into creativity to release it. Sometimes people write, everything terrible that's ever happened, and they just burn it in order to represent it's gone. Some people journal so they can look back at their emotions and understand them better. So hopefully this description of rage, hopefully this discussion of the emotion of rage helps you towards your emotional health. That's the end of the emotional segment. Next, we have the mental segment. Affirm You. This is just a deck I made. I have several decks I've made of affirmations. It's always good to write your own affirmations and put them around the house. Write down your goals and put them where you can see them and say, I will achieve my goal every time you see it, say it, believe it, and it can and will happen. We have perfectly imperfect. So your affirmation is, I love myself, and I love all that I am, and I'm not worried about what was, but I am excited for what will be. You could also say, I'm perfectly imperfect. So, everyone knows there's no such thing as perfection, but sometimes we try to strive for it anyway. And that can be obviously very difficult because it's kind of like trying to achieve what cannot be achieved. If the world were perfect, there would be nothing. And what I mean by that is, so many things in this world were created by sheer accident, be it people, places, things, etc. Even when you think that you're no good, or even if you're down on yourself, loving yourself through hardships is really what gives you the strength to carry on in life. That your strength, your confidence in yourself is what's really going to make you feel like you're victorious or you're a victim. Victim mentality is, oh, if I just had this then, versus I'm grateful I have this and one day I will. Writing yourself off that you'll never be perfect. Trying to achieve something that doesn't exist. Yes, the word exists, but that is simply to give you an example of something, kind of like love. There's a definition for it, but in person, no definition can truly describe love. Perfection, to me, is very much the same exact way. Perfection cannot be described, it can only be felt. Like when people say, oh, I feel perfectly fine. That means I feel quite good. We can use sentences like that to where perfectionism isn't necessarily implied, it's not given, it's just assumed that everything is good. When you put the word perfect in the sentence, people associate that with something good. What if we viewed perfection as something completely imperfect, something unachievable, something that doesn't exist? Even the word perfect isn't perfect. How ironic is that? The word perfect can't even be what it wants to be, perfect, because there's no such thing. And technically, you're the exact same way with yourself. You'll say, I am this, but you convince yourself that you're not. Let's say you have self-confidence issues and you believe you'll never be perfect, and that's what you focus on. Well, then you'll never see your good qualities because you're focused on what you don't like versus what you do. You could always say every day, I am perfectly me. And that statement actually would be completely true. because you are you for a reason. So, this is what I have for the mental segment. Now, for the physical segment, we have a lunge. Okay. So I'll take this moment to pause it and show you how I do lunges whenever I work out. And I'm gonna do 20 of them, and you can do them with me, or you can play this later and do it yourself. Okay, so how I would explain a lunge. A lunge is essentially where you step forward some, put your knee forward, you step backward some. So it pretty much looks like this. And then you bend slightly. So let's try it together. This one forward, this one back, and then you kind of push forward a little bit. So I'm going to do 20 of these. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. When you put this leg forward, make sure that your knee doesn't really go past your foot. You can injure yourself. Make sure your legs aren't spread too far apart. You might pull a muscle. I recommend doing one forward, then back, and then the other leg forward and back. And if you're still unsure about what form to use, feel free to look up another video. So our 20 reps are done. That is the end of the physical part of the segment. Okay, my bad. I knocked my camera. Yeah, no, just gonna leave it like that. Once again, perfectly imperfect. I was the perfect example. Get it? Alright, now for the spiritual part of the segment. Now, think about what you want the most right now and picture yourself having it, whatever it is. I'll give you a few moments. Now then, what you're actually going to receive, what you are actually harvesting. I made these harvest cards. They're cute. They're about like wish fulfillment, and it's mostly stuff that is completely attainable. So we have money times 1,000 coming to you now. So if you wanted money to come in, guess what? That is what you are receiving. Now let's say, I'm so grateful for the money times 1,000 coming to me now. Let's all say it to ourselves together. I am so grateful for the money times 1,000 that is coming to me now. Now, what you currently should be grateful for is my own boss. You are your own boss. Only you can control you. Now let's say to ourselves, I'm so grateful I'm my own boss. I'm so grateful I'm my own boss. I'm so grateful that I'm in charge of me. I'm so grateful that I am perfectly me. So, that was our EMPS Health Matters program, emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual health. Remember, health first. Reminder, eat well, rest well, and hydrate well. Many blessings. Love, Magigoddess, and welcome to my beautiful health program. And I hope it helps you as much as mine that I designed for me helps me. Until next